I've come to the conclusion that we're never going to make a decent episode with Tim McDonald.
It's too hectic. We plan to come back early and sort it out. It starts going off, fish going crazy.
Woohoo!
G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Sailing Popao. Last night, or the night before, Tornado Tim actually came out and he brought a lovely couple from the UK and we took them spearfishing. They told us they were used to chasing scallops in the UK with a torch because the water was so dark and dirty.
Like 2 metre spheres.
So we didn't actually shoot anything ourselves. I shot a trout, just shot nothing.
I shot nothing, yeah. We held
so stoked watching them just in their element. Lisa did really well. She's been diving like 9 times.
She absolutely smashed it out of the park. Such a natural
went crazy
diver and killer and everything. We spent most of yesterday trying to get them jobbies. They absolutely slayed it. They got mackerel.
Got the first mackerel. She shot jewfish.
Trevally. So many awesome fish. So we're going to play a little bit of that footage now and what went down our first night at the reef. It was pretty full on. We had the worst anchorage. They all slept amazingly because they'd been diving that day.
I don't know about that. I think they're being polite.
Maybe being polite.
Typical Tim McDonald fashion, dive till dark and then drive in the dark. It's 6:45 and he's almost here. Sunset a couple hours ago.
2 hours ago.
We were getting a little bit worried, but you add the Tim factor and it's like, all right, we can see these little nav lights getting absolutely hammered coming over they just keep appearing and reappearing. It's blowing 20 knots offshore westerly and he's heading straight into it. So
yeah. And our anchorage doesn't offer much protection. We were expecting a sou'wester. It started as a northwest, blew for about 2 hours, got the sea nice and rough.
But anyway, big day of diving tomorrow, hopefully. If that's him, I would say...
Yeah, that's him. He's coming straight for us now.
But
all right, well,
anyway,
let's set this up. I can't wait to see their faces. They'll be like, what the hell? Gee, these Aussies are crazy. Nah, just Tim. He's the only crazy one. Absolute glass out.
You're going to be top of the flog. Where did you come from? So what do you want to do? We've got a big anchor and a chain like ready to drop somewhere. You want to do that? So I'll put that in the tender and I'll come to you. Yep.
That was intense. We just put the 30 kilo our old CQR in. Far out. It's bloody rough out there. It's crazy looking back on the boat because you usually wouldn't leave the boat when it's this rough, but the hulls are like lifting right out of the water at the back. If you pass in the bags first,
yes,
and then we'll get you off. Welcome aboard. What an adventure.
Yeah, quite a bumpy ride over here.
I have to say that was the worst sleep. The worst sleep we've ever had on this boat. But you need to suffer to get some action. Look at that. Look at that tooth. Beautiful specimen.
Just like we'd been welcomed with open arms when travelling, we wanted to make sure our international guests were shown the best Australia had to offer. The only problem was that none of us had ever dived this particular reef before, and this was Lisa's 3rd or 4th day ever diving. With sharks not being a common sight in the UK, who better to welcome them to Australia than this big tiger shark on our very first drift.
Big tiger shark.
You kidding?
Big tiger shark. You wanted to see a decent shark, that was a good one. Big tiger. Yeah.
First up was a Barrier Reef staple, the humble common trout. Easy to shoot and delicious to eat. We love nothing more than exploring new spots and trying to figure them out. And there were some really nice ledges and drop-offs with plenty of trout and healthy coral.
I love that red eye when they come up from the deep. Beautiful fish. That's a coral trout. So that's just a common trout. So when you shoot them, like that was 15 meters. They go that, the deeper they are, the brighter red they come up. Stunning, eh? How nice is it, eh? Beautiful trout. Yeah.
We were drifting over some rubbly bottom when I noticed a couple of jobbies hanging around. I dived down and realised there was now a huge school hanging around. I was super excited to try and get Lisa onto one of these.
Jobbies everywhere, blankets of them. Jobbies everywhere. I know, 5 kilos and a massive Spanish just swam under us. You've got to go like right to the bottom, like, and pancake to the bottom. Yeah, and you can do this and rub the sand, get dirt and stuff. They'll do a U-turn, come straight to you. Yeah, they're really good fish.
Some people are straight up naturals in the water, and Lisa was certainly one of them. Here she was sitting on the bottom in 15 metres, casually dusting in jobfish.
What you did, just try to get a little bit lower, like you were sort of propped up. Just sort of get your top half down, and then you could just get your hand, and instead of throwing sand, because you could use a lot of energy, just do that on the sand, it'll pop up. Yeah.
It did come in. It was pretty good. I think I just missed it.
Yeah, I thought that was it. So.
I think maybe I just went high. What about?
Bronze whalers. Yeah, they're the ones that'll eat your fish. We'll do another drift.
Sometimes a wave helps you, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah,
It doesn't have to look pretty in moments like that.
I think 1 or 2 more opportunity like that.
Yeah. That was perfect.
Yeah.
Just when you get to the bottom, you're sort of like this.
Yeah.
You just want to like
really low.
just literally go. I'm gonna have a nap on the bottom. Yeah, they were just there too. Like to get your gun there, it's like a big swing. Yeah. But you did. That was like the perfect dive. Yeah.
Cool, okay. I feel like it's so close now.
Yeah, that was like perfect. Everything was perfect about the dive except for where the fish came in. Oh, we got to get him jogging. There's not as many as there were the first time.
Yeah, she's had 2 shots of them.
Yeah.
Surprised to see him again.
Yeah.
Boat's driven past here a couple of times.
Yeah, you hooned off and I was like, damn.
I barely saw a fish.
Really?
It's weird. That was real quiet, eh? That whole trip.
And you were diving and they didn't come in?
We didn't even dive on the flat stuff. It was just nothing.
Yeah.
There's no bait, no nothing.
Yeah, it just rubble and then they come in when you dive.
Tried so hard to get Lisa a jobby. She absolutely killed it. First dive she took a long shot. Second dive she wasn't quite on the bottom. Third dive she just did like the best dive, sat on the bottom, dusted it up. The jobbies came in but they were all just on the right side, just not quite right. So by the time she would have turned around it would have just spooked them all. And I think she took a long shot and yeah, that was it. They sort of cleared out, but it's been a beautiful day on the water and everyone's shot a couple of trout now. And yeah, it's been great. Absolutely loving being out here. Lisa is going to be such a gun. She's a
natural in the water, complete natural in the water. Very jealous. She's already diving, sitting on the bottom, holding breath for a minute and a half, dusting in fish. So yeah, it's going to be really cool to see where she goes in a year. I mean, she's already shot some bloody awesome fish. So yeah, it would have been good to get her jobby earlier, but she's already shot a nice trout, which is pretty cool. Look at all the strawberries in here. So good. Yeah, they're only here for a day, so they're flying back to the UK tomorrow, so it's a pretty good farewell. Be on the Great Barrier Reef, spearing delicious fish.
We had planned to leave fairly early as Tim had a big run in back to the coast, but in classic form, the ocean came alive and none of us were rushing out of the water. Hayden took a dive on this nice mackerel and put a good shot on his first ever Spanish.
Follow them, Jess!
Oh, I just shot a huge mackerel. I don't know how big this thing is, but he's bloody stoked.
Piece of skin hold. I'm exhausted.
Woohoo! Nice! That's awesome!
Oh, very good.
Just slide him straight in if you can. Yep. Nice!
Oh.
Congrats! That's sick!
Meanwhile, back up current, Lisa had just missed this big kingfish.
Oh no! He's a big one too! She missed him straight over the top.
But it wasn't long until she had another shot at a nice trevally.
I'm going to pull it up as fast as you can. Just throw that line away. Throw that excess line behind her. Whether using a reel or a float line, it's important to practice good line management. Gently swimming forward while retrieving the line and throwing it behind you is a good way to avoid tangles.
Nice! Big bludger! Oh no! Oh, really? Give me a boost. Oh, it's coming.
With the sun setting, it was time to take some pictures and get them on their way before they were driving back home in the dark again.
Well, I've come to the conclusion that we're never going to make a decent episode with Tim McDonald.
Just too hectic. We planned to come back early and sort it out
Yeah,
yeah,
it's going off.
One more drift, starts going off, fish going crazy.
Yeah, so we're pulling the mooring and we're getting out of here because this anchorage sucks. Tim, they're getting their fish sorted and they're leaving. So anyway, I apologise. Terrible episode. We're going to add some more spearing on when we go back out to the spots that we dove today in the tender. Just crazy. Tornado Tim once again. Pulling up the 30 kilo CQR with about 20 metres of chain. 30 metres of chain on it. It's all very reminiscent of the last trip with Tim and Fraser, and I'm pretty sure we're doing the exact same thing. Racing back, pulling the anchor, cleaning the fish on the back deck, and getting the hell out of here.
Next episode on Sailing Popao.
Yes, look at them all! Come on! Sharks everywhere, I didn't realise you're in the boat! Don't come out here for a good sleep, that's for sure. Far out.
A huge thanks to our patrons for your ongoing support, and welcome back on board, John. If you'd like to support our channel in another way, be sure to check out our merch online at sailingpopao.com.